For home decorating, you're going to find it in one place, Westside Decorating Center. And a good morning to you. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news this morning, Drew Patton's going to be visiting, talking about AI and the machinery needed and how it all works and all that good stuff, pros and cons. But for this hour, I'm showing no mercy to my guest this morning. There's a reason I say that. Because he is probably the most positive person I know in my life. And we say good morning to Paul White.
Wonderful morning, Art.
Great morning, Paul.
Yes, it is.
I said I'm showing you no mercy this morning.
Well,
It has to do with something you wrote.
Yes, and here I am on your show being able to say to everyone what a positive impact you personally have had on my life for decades now. For decades. And I know you've had a positive
not
impact.
that old.
Well, you're only slightly older than I am. We've enjoyed a fun relationship,
Yeah,
though.
that's
and
true. That's true.
Recently, I had an experience. I was at church, and our pastor, Pete Gaspiny, was giving a sermon and was talking about mercy. And I got to be honest with you, I've never really considered mercy as a character trait and the impact that it could have on all of our lives. So afterwards, I just couldn't stop thinking about what he had said about mercy and everything. So I started doing some research on it. And I came upon a statement that said, mercy is one of those qualities that separates truly great people from merely successful ones. And that really hit home for me. It's like, what do you mean by that? And so I started diving deep into mercy and everything, and realizing that when someone achieves success, that's usually the stopping point, the end point of the goal that they had set, right? So when you achieve success with a specific goal, first thing you do is move on to the next goal. And mercy,
I don't know if I totally agree with that or not.
mercy occurs after you achieve the success, because once
That I would
you've
believe.
achieved the success, it's an opportunity to go even further, to experience a higher level of success through mercy.
All right, so here's my response.
Okay.
I've always been of the belief that when you achieve success, the goal isn't to move on to the next success. The immediate goal is to figure out how to maintain that success, because success can be fleeting. So I never look for the next goal on purpose, but I always have purpose in maintaining the success of the current goal. Does that make sense?
I can understand.
But I can hear the disagreement.
Well, no, I would support that. I would agree with that. However, I think that our culture has been set up, and when you look specifically at goal setting, true goal setting is great, but when all people do is have a goal or write down a goal, it doesn't mean a thing. It's the action and the step-by-step process to achieve that goal that helps people be successful and successfully achieve that goal.
Right, but then they get the success.
But once they hit that goal, then it's time to redraw your goals. And maintaining that success, I would agree, is one of the things that can be part of the goal. But I think that comes naturally depending on the way you set your goals up.
Well, maybe. I mean, to me, success is measured in different ways.
Oh,
And,
definitely.
And it's not just dollars. It's personal satisfaction. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's
Well, you said success.
happiness and success to go together, because when you're successful, I think you're happy. Although I have to tell you, I know people who are very successful that I wouldn't think are very happy
But that
because
depends.
they're buried in.
Right. That depends on how you're measuring. And when you said success is measured in different ways, I could add on to that. Success is measured in different ways by each one of us.
Absolutely.
We
Good.
all have our own definition of success, and success for some may be money driven.
Right.
Success for others
Right.
may be family
Absolutely.
driven.
Absolutely.
Success for others may be community
Yeah.
driven.
And then we get back to mercy, because mercy, to me, is a personal thing measured on each and every situation. I would be hesitant to say across the board, because there are situations that that maybe you want to be a little less merciful. I think it's a judgment call.
Oh,
I'm
you're going
looking,
deep on me this
I'm
morning.
looking at Paul's face here, and I'm watching his reaction.
Well, this is what I love about you and I having conversations. I would say this. Can mercy be life enhancing? For me, the answer
yeah.
is yes.
Oh, I would agree with that.
When you give it away without strings attached, and when you receive it, even though you may not deserve it.
Okay, I can buy that. I can buy that.
And
Because in order to be merciful, you have to do it without strings attached.
well, and
Because if you attach strings to it, then you're modifying it.
well, I think that's maybe why mercy might be the most underrated character trait on any list of character traits, because mercy costs the giver something, which is what gives it its weight and significance.
Yeah.
And that's why it can be so powerful.
We hear it in the public realm every now and then. I think of the Kirk wife, who after he was shot
Yeah.
forgave the shooter from a almost religious viewpoint,
Yeah.
I think. But at the same time, also understood there needed to be accountability.
Sure. I think that was one of the most beautiful examples of mercy I've ever witnessed. I recall it was probably 10, 15 years ago that there was an Amish family in Pennsylvania, and their buggy got hit and killed. And the first reaction to the press was that we forgive that individual totally and completely.
Yeah. And how rare it is that they would even talk to the press.
Well, yeah. I mean, that, again, was just an example of one of the most beautiful character traits that someone can display. I mean, absolutely inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you what. Mercifully, we're going to take a break.
Okay?
Then we'll come back with more of this.
Wonderful.
Too much fun.
Yeah.
Paul White is with me, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most positive individuals you will ever meet in your life. He writes many articles. We'll tell you where you can find them. And we'll have more when we return after these notes.
70s.
We're back with you, talking to Paul White. He wrote an article, of his many, this is like 220 now, called What We Need More of These Days is Mercy. And we're talking about that, to which I said I can't accept it universally, and started giving the example of, say, somebody who's been arrested for drunk driving 6 times and ends up in front of the judge and asks for mercy. Does that person deserve mercy, or does that person deserve conditions before mercy? Your turn, Paul.
Does the person deserve mercy? Yes, but I would qualify that yes with probably not from the judge that they're standing in front of. What the judge is there for is for accountability. And someone's being held accountable for the crimes they've committed or the injustice they've committed or something. But I would hope that moving forward, there are people in that person's life that would dispense some mercy to create hope for that person.
But then you're saying mercy is not universal. It's okay for the family and those in his life to do it, but not the judge.
Yeah, I think
The
there's
judge
professions. There's professions in this world. I'll give you an example. How about an emergency room doctor who, all of a sudden, they're in front of a patient that came into the emergency room who had just been in an accident. They were inebriated. They hurt other people and stuff. They need to have a merciful heart to be able to walk in. It's the oath that they took to serve that person.
The Hippocratic oath is really an oath of mercy.
But they're almost forced to have mercy where a judge is forced not to. And so when you say universal mercy, there's always going to be an exception.
Okay.
But I think that, for us personally, and I'll go back to when I was writing this article. I've been amazed at the personal impact writing this article has had on me, because all of a sudden I started practicing, just like with anything. The more you practice, the better you become at it. And because I'm a committed lifelong learner, and I have this saying, can I? Constant and never-ending improvement. That's an acronym. Can I? Yes, I can. And I wanted to get better at showing mercy. So I've begun each day recently going out and saying, hey, how can I show mercy? It might be tiny little things like when you come into a parking lot and there's a space available right near the front and there's another vehicle headed towards it, and
bingo.
And you might have been there first, but boom, you let them.
Yeah.
It could be, at the gas station, or it's funny trying to cross a street or in a parking lot if a car's coming. I always pick up my pace a little.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that, because when you were talking about mercy in cars, my thought went to traveling down a multi-lane road and somebody wants to cut in front of you.
Yeah.
And probably do it in an unsafe way.
Correct.
So your instinct is what? Do you speed up to block them, or do you mercifully back off and let them in?
Okay, so
because that's the safer way to do it anyway.
Well, let's look at that example that you just gave. What would the world look like if we all were the type of person that had character traits that said speed up and cut them off?
Probably look a lot like it does today, unfortunately.
Well, and what would the world look like if we all went, oh, it's obvious that they would like to get into this lane, and I can hit my brakes and slow down a little. I can take it off cruise control and allow them in. And what would the world look like if we all had that kind of a character trait attitude?
Yeah. Well, the nature of the world is we're not all alike, and we don't all view things the same way. And I'm not sure if we all were exactly alike and did things exactly alike, I'm not sure if that would be a better place or not. I don't know. That's an interesting comment.
Well, and I think there's areas where we all do things exactly alike.
No, we do.
We all eat food every day.
Yeah.
We all get dressed every day. Hopefully we take showers every once in a while.
Nice.
But I think there are things that we all do alike. And for me, growing the character trait of mercy can have such a profound effect. What the basis of all this is what I'm noticing is that when I'm out dispensing mercy more than I have in the past, because I'm looking for opportunities to dispense mercy, you know what? I'm a happier individual.
Well, but if that makes you happy, and
I experience more joy and happiness. And
then for you, it's the right thing to do.
But wouldn't you say that based on what I'm saying, it's the right thing for all of us to do if We want to experience more joy and happiness in
I
our
guess
life.
my only vision of it is different this way. I don't wake up in the morning and go out looking to hand out mercy.
Well,
I hand out mercy when the situation presents itself that it's proper. In other words, I get up in the morning, I go out, I don't look for drivers that are going to cut me off so I can slow down. I don't look for people that I'm going to give mercy to. I go about my business. And if a situation presents itself that calls for me to be merciful, then I do.
Yeah. So you're not out there looking, and I'm going to add a word to that, yet. But there's hope for you, Art, and we're going to change that. And here's why, because you're someone that recognizes systems of rewards. And I remember the very first article I wrote that got me started on writing was entitled, "It's Better to Be Kind Than Right." And in our current society, we're all so righteous. We're sitting there and everything that happens every day, we're looking at it and we're saying, now that's not right. That's wrong. And righteousness has invaded our minds. And it's amazing when you start looking at mercy and dispensing it, you're not quite as righteous. You're not as focused on right and wrong because there isn't really any value. If someone's right and you believe it and you support it, you can get behind that, but it doesn't mean you have to be fanatical about it. And if someone's wrong, being able to process it with a heart full of mercy is a lot better than processing it with righteousness, which does what? Brings anger, frustration, and, heightened blood pressure.
I had a boss back in the 60s, my early days in radio. He would stop you dead in your tracks if you told him or anyone else they were wrong. He said, no, we may be in error. We may disagree, but don't tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you don't agree with me. Tell me that you think I'm in error. But he didn't like that word wrong at all.
I love that, what you just said. So create a picture in my mind of your broad thoughts on that individual.
Oh, he was great. He was great. He was easy to get along with. He was always positive. Even when he had to be negative, he was positive in the way he was negative, if you can understand that. And he was sympathetic, empathetic,
and merciful.
I was going to say merciful because he treated employees in a merciful way, even when there was some pretty strong negativity.
So one of the things that I've been doing recently is I've been thinking to myself, who do I know who practices mercy on a regular basis? Are there some individuals I'm aware of that are out there doing that? And I've come up with all these examples of people that I know in our community who exhibit mercy on a regular basis. I just volunteered at the Hidden Harvest fundraiser Wednesday night.
Oh, did you?
And I was able to witness mercy in a wide variety of ways. And I was examining the people, like the employees that work for Hidden Harvest and the board members and the volunteers. And I looked at them and I said, wow, I love the mercy that they exhibit each and every day. I want to be like them.
I was on the original board for 9 years.
Yes, you were.
9 years. Love that organization.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a break, mercifully, and then we will be back with more.
Jeff Gronsky here with Auto Bright.
All right, we're back with you in studio with me, Paul White. He has written a couple of hundred articles on being positive in life. Where does one find your writings?
Well, there's two places that you can go. The first is my website, which is www.theanswerdiscovery.com. Theanswerdiscovery.com. And I post all of my articles on there on my blog. So you can go there, and all my articles are there. And you can pick and choose which ones you want to read based on the title and click through and read them. You can also go to the Midland Daily News website, which I'm a guest columnist for the Midland Daily News. They then take my articles and push them out there to other Hearst publications. 22 of those Hearst publications run my article across the country, including San Francisco, Seattle, Albany, New York, and a bunch down in Texas, Connecticut, Illinois, and here in Michigan. And their website is ourmidland.com.
right.
OUR. Yep.
I got a question for you. I don't think I've ever asked this question before.
Ooh. Oh, that's an evil laugh.
Yes.
But I'm ready. Go ahead.
At what point in young Paul White's life did Paul White decide positive was better than negative? Or were you always that way?
Well, one of the things you and I have talked about before is our shared genetic love of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
And being an extremely curious person, I always want to know the why. And why this, why that? And I think in each article, when I choose a subject matter, I try to take the time to explain the why to the reader of why I'm diving into this subject as deep as I am. And I'm always trying to offer them a new perspective on something. And then I always have a call to action. Don't just read this and think about it. Just like today, if someone's listening and they're thinking about the word mercy and the role it could play in their life, it'd be a lot of fun if they took action and tried dispensing mercy and then being more aware of when people actually are being merciful to them, because most of the time it's in the slightest way and they just don't even think about it. They just pass it off. So the whole positive thing began from the time I was very young, and I knew someone, Joe Stack, who had muscular dystrophy. And he was my age. I was, at the time, somewhere in the 4 to 7 range when I knew Joe. And that's when we first met. And no one wanted to play with him. He was in a wheelchair and stuff, and I always found great joy playing with Joe. It was different than playing with others, and the activities we did were different. But I couldn't believe how happy it made him, and by making him happy, it made me happy. I was 14 when Joe passed away. I think he was a year older than me, and boy, that had a profound impact on my life. But wanting to help other people brought me joy, and I've always embraced helping others. And it goes back to the Zig Ziglar famous quote, you can get everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. And I read his book, See You at the Top, when I was 22 years old, and I've attempted to live that quote since I was 22 years old. And that has brought me great joy and happiness.
I would have to think it also brought you comfort at a time when business decisions were difficult. I've known Paul a long time, and he went through some decisions in business that he probably wished he didn't have to do, but you did. And I wondered to myself, and I don't think I've ever talked to you about this, but when you closed down your primary business, I wondered, what's he going to do next? And then I told myself, you don't have to wonder, he's not going to change.
Yeah, how am I doing, Art?
You haven't changed.
You know, it's funny. when you introduce me as the most positive person I know and all that, I think in people's minds they think that there's this white picket fence life. And my life has the same, if not more, challenges and obstacles and speed bumps and hurdles that I have to climb over as much as anyone else.
Yeah. Well,
It's the way I approach those, though, that convinces me that maintaining my positive attitude from the very beginning, I never waste any time with the why me, because I don't find any value in the why me.
Yeah. You'd be a good philosophy professor. I just, you make one comment about the white picket fence life. I've known people that think they live that life, you know, and I remind them that white picket fence every now and then has to be painted,
Well,
because if you don't, it will deteriorate.
Well, we're going to work on how you deliver mercy, Art.
I'm going to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about that. Let me take a moment to talk about a subject for which I have no mercy. Potholes. They can wreck your alignment on your car and do a lot of damage. And as you know, Michigan has a lot of them, and they constantly strive to try and fill them before we hit them. But if you do hit them enough time, you're going to damage your car. Our friends at Quick Lane Freeland are offering a complimentary alignment check. All you have to do is drive in and ask for it. They'll put your car up and check out your alignment and let you know what they find. And if you want to know how important alignment is, listen to John from Quick Lane Freeland.
If your vehicle's wheels are aligned correctly, it will not pull to the left or to the right when driving. It also prevents improper tread wear, so your tires last longer. A wheel alignment should be checked often because normal steering wear and tear can cause your alignment to go out, in addition to potholes and railroad crossings. A correct alignment also reduces rolling resistance on your tires for better fuel mileage.
And, of course, better safety. Stop in today. Quick Lane Freeland, part of the McDonald Ford property in Freeland. And don't forget, too, if you need tires, they sell all of their new tires at just $5 over cost. Quick Lane Freeland and McDonald Ford, two names standing ready to help you with your automotive decisions in 2026.
Send someone now.
Ask me how it's done. It's all done with mirrors. I have no idea. Anyway, good morning. Welcome back. The Art Lewis Show. My guest is Paul White, as I've said many, many times, one of the most positive individuals I know. Always looking for positive ways to do things and ways to make life better. And his thoughts recently turned to mercy. And he wrote quite a lengthy article. And it's theanswerdiscovery.com. Is that the website?
Yes.
And it's an interesting article. What I found was hard to accept or get my head around all of the concepts. But as I read it, I began to visualize, well, I understand that, and I understand that, and I understand that. And you do have to, you don't just wake up in the morning and say, okay, today I'm now a merciful person.
Yeah.
You know, it has to grow on you like everything else.
And what you just said, I did my job as a writer. I took you on a step-by-step process, and I led you to a place. And you know, you said a lengthy article. It takes the average reader 4 to 5 minutes to read, and that's a worthwhile investment. Think about that. 4 to 5 minutes to read this and be a better person because of it, because you read it. We've been talking about mercy, and I want to make sure I say the heart of mercy is this. You, the individual, have the power to harm, withhold, or condemn, and you choose not to. And that's what makes mercy so powerful. Because anyone can be kind to someone who deserves it. True mercy kicks in precisely when someone doesn't deserve it. And I think that's what makes it so powerful. And if you think about what mercy cost you, giving and showing mercy to others delivers the most significant return to your own personal investment of mercy and delivers the highest level of joy and happiness.
You know what came to my mind? And it's a selfish thing in a way. When I do those little nice things, like the guy trying to cut in front of me.
Yeah.
So I back off my throttle, I let him in.
Yeah.
I'm almost telling myself I like myself. I like myself more.
Well, isn't it funny how you can see that as selfishness, but what it truly is selflessness. You're being selfless.
Yeah.
You're allowing someone to have their way in spite of what it might cost you. And in the end, what it costs you is the deliverance of joy and happiness. How wonderful is that?
Yeah. Because I have to be honest, there was a time in my driving life when I was a lot younger and had a Corvette and did fancy stuff. There was no way I'm letting you in.
Yeah.
I'm going to speed up and you're not getting anywhere near my lane. And as I thought back on those actions many, many, many years ago, I reminded myself that it didn't make me feel better. It actually made me angry. It was negative.
So you know what you just...
Even though I succeeded keeping him out of the lane.
Correct. You know what you just defined? Wisdom. And that's something as we age and we grow older that we gain based on our true life experiences.
Yeah.
And it's the wisdom that we can utilize in our life and we can share with our children and with our friends and with our coworkers and everything that really lends itself well to living a consistently joyful and happy life.
So therefore, I would call you the keeper of the wisdom because you share that wisdom with others.
Well, yeah, I have this. My curiosity wants me to acquire as much wisdom. Yeah, I try to acquire as much wisdom as I can, but I share it freely when I can see how much it's benefited my life.
Yeah.
And I want to share it in the hope that it will benefit other people's lives.
Paul will do it again soon.
Yeah, thanks, Art.
It's a great pleasure as always.
I love you, Art Lewis.
I love you, Paul White. We'll talk soon.
Ready to update your home and...
All right, that does it for the first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up next hour, we're going to talk about computers and AI. We're going to do it with Drew Patton. All of that is ahead. Before we get there, though, we have ABC News to bring you up to date on the nation and the world. Michael Percha in the WSGW newsroom. He's going to tell you all about the region and the state. And then we will be back with more on the Art Lewis Show, and all of that is ahead after the news.
Broadcasting from the